I'm thinking of beauty again, how some things are haunted because we have deemed them beautiful. If, relative to the history of our planet, an individual life is short, a blink of an eye, as they say, then to be gorgeous, even from the day you're born to the day you die, is to be gorgeous only briefly. Ocean Vuong. Hello book friends, welcome to Uncommon Reader. This video is dedicated to On Earth We're Briefly Gorgeous by Ocean Vuong. This was my buddy read with Precious of Reading Through the Generations. I will link Precious' video as well on the description of this video. I look forward to hear what her thoughts are about the book, although we of course exchanged some emails with our impressions while we were reading. As for my first encounter with Ocean Vuong, I have to thank Lepton at Reading from the Depth, because he was speaking so highly about this author and I got really curious. So Ocean Vuong is known for her poetry, and I confess I'm not so acquainted with poetry. I had a hard time with poetry since childhood, when we had to learn by heart some poetry, even lengthy poetry at school, and it was so hard for me to memorize the lines, and somehow I rejected it, and I think I've developed some sort of uncomfortable feeling around the poetry, and so as a reader as well, I've never been curious about it, but I do enjoy lyrics and novels that are infused with something that I consider poetic. I like something tangible, not too abstract, not too philosophical. So I want reality. I need something concrete, but at the same time that can be evolving to some sort of reflection. So I'm sorry, it's a bit complicated to explain, but I did find what I was looking for into Ocean Vuong's writing with this novel that is sort of a memoir, a series of letters. The protagonist, little dog, is writing to his mother as he shares some childhood memories and later on some coming of age experiences. Reading this book felt like reading something autobiographical, although there's no indication in the acknowledgements that he wrote this as something he experienced. But I like to think about that. And what I was most touched by was the memories of little dog. He shared about his upbringing with his mother and grandmother. He lived with the two women that definitely shaped his sensitivity. I never know when to use the word sensitivity and when to use the word sensibility. So I hope you know what I mean. And they were so endearing, these moments, and I also connected a lot with these little episodes, because this is how I feel more close to showing affection. So nothing too, too loud, too theatrical, but simple gestures, meaningful gestures. For example, little dog remembers when his mother, coming home from work, she was super tired, and he would massage her back, and they would kind of be close to each other without maybe, you know, saying something redundant like I love you or something, but just the gestures were so, so meaningful. I was also very, very fond of the way he would talk about his mother, and quite admirable what she did, because coming as a refugee from Vietnam after the war, she didn't know English, but she built a career for herself. She had a beauty salon, and little dog used to go and help her when possible. And without knowing English, she would manage, you know, to run her store and sustain her family. Also, her mom was living with her, but her mom was going through, you know, aging and maybe an onset of Alzheimer's. So she was quite a delightful, light presence in little dog's childhood, because she would remember stories from her days in Vietnam, but every time she would tell a story, some details would change and making it all new. So it was a very light and almost humorous presence in this book, which overall, no matter what instance he was talking about, there is so much poetry in this language, and that's the poetry I'm thinking about, the poetry that sits with me. I want to read you a short passage when he's remembering a moment of his childhood. That time when I was 5 or 6 and playing a prank, leapt out at you, talking about his mom, from behind the hallway door, shouting, "Boom!" You screamed, face raked and twisted, then burst into sobs, clutched your chest as you leaned against the door, gasping. I stood bewildered, my toy army helmet tilted on my head. I was an American boy parroting what I saw on TV. I didn't know that the war was still inside you, that there was a war to begin with, that once it enters you, it never leaves, but merely echoes, a sound forming the face of your own son. Boom. And I highlighted so many moments of these. And I want to share some of the phrases that to me sound like poetry. And you let me know if you feel the same. Because freedom, I'm told, is nothing but the distance between the hunter and its prey. Sometimes being offered tenderness feels like the very proof that you've been ruined. They say nothing lasts forever, but they're just scared it would last longer, that they can love it. And lastly, all this time I've told myself we were born from war, but I was wrong, Ma. We were born from beauty. Let no one mistake us for the fruit of violence, but that violence, having passed through the fruit, failed to spoil it. Yeah, this is the hardcore poetry I feel I connect with. So I was so enamored with this writing, and I look forward to read more from this author. Of course, there's so much more to say about it, but I don't want to spoil and ruin your journey if you're going to pick up this book, because of course the novel doesn't only go back to little dog's childhood, but it touches so many aspects, you know, the bully of being an immigrant when he was a child, and then he's coming of age with discovering his own sexuality and how hard that was, and how his relationship with his mother proceeded through that discovery. That was quite moving and intense as well. And the fact that his mother, although he's writing for her, she was not able to read these things, but somehow, I don't know, I feel that they were still able to connect as a family, as a unity. So I believe that this character grew up with enough love despite the lack of a father figure, despite the fact that let's say the declarations of love were of a different kind, and perhaps it's more the case with Asian culture. I'm not too familiar with it, but perhaps some of you can pinch in the comments. And I really am touched by that expressions of love, which speak more volume to me than, you know, saying I love you all the time. Facts speak louder than words. So I feel this book exceeded my expectations, because coming in, I was a bit worried that it would be a bit difficult to read, in the sense that it would be painful. Of course, there are very painful moments, especially during, of course, his journey through adulthood. But I feel also there's so much love and appreciation for his family that are really heartwarming, the way he celebrates the little moments of everyday life. And also I appreciate that I got one step closer, feeling a bit warmer to poetry myself. I know everyone's journey is different, so I feel like I'm starting to break through, finding my own way to get closer to what poetry means to me, because I feel that everyone has his own approach to it. So I need to find the type of poetry that resonates with me. So Ocean Vuong was a really great step towards it. And I thank you so much for watching, and thank you, Precious, for reading this alongside with me. I look forward to watch your video, and again, I remind you, I will link Precious' video in the description box. Thank you for keeping me company today. And thank you so much for all the love that I received for my second channel anniversary. I also got this great gift of reaching 1,000 subscribers. So I thank you all so much for your love and support. See you soon here on Uncamo Reader. In the meantime, happy reading and ciao.